what we have been planning for a long time. This is your host Ankur Vora. I am the Director for Outreach and International Admissions at OP Jindal Global University. On behalf of the university, I would like to welcome all the students from over 100 plus schools, and 2,000 students have actually registered for this summer engagement week. We are really honored and privileged to have such strong support for this a very unique program in Indian education system. I don't think any other program of this kind exists where you get 6 days of world-class faculty teaching you virtually, and you will be able to join in from anywhere across India and abroad. It's a wonderful day, and I'm really honored and really excited to see how this pans out over the next 6 days. One thing is for sure, all the students that have joined in will have a wonderful experience, some wonderful memories, some lifetime learning, and definitely you will become much more wiser, if I dare may say, about your career choices and the areas that you would like to enter into. It's my honor also to invite our keynote speaker for the day, Professor Arjo Majumdar, who is the Dean for Admissions and Outreach at OP Jindal Global University and a very well-known faculty member in the legal fraternity in India and abroad. It's our honor that he is here to inaugurate this summer engagement week and also uh, give you a few tips of wisdom on how you can utilize the next 6 days to become a bit wiser about your career choices and the areas of that exist in front of you to pursue your career in. I will not waste more time. I would like to invite Professor Arju Majumdar to inaugurate the session, please.
Thank you very much for that warm introduction, Ankur. I'm so very glad that there have been so many students who've turned up. I personally am really looking forward to this engagement week. I know that we have been working very hard, and my thanks and my congratulations goes out to the outreach team at the OP Jindal Global University. So students, parents, teachers, counselors, whoever's joining in, thank you for being here. And what a wonderful week it's going to be. So over the next 1 week, what's going to happen is there will be a number of faculty members from the OP Jindal Global University who will take short workshops and short sessions with you. Now, the reason for this engagement week is not to showcase how amazing the OP Jindal Global University is. For that, you only need to visit our website or look up the news on our university. But perhaps it is more to do with an idea that engineering and medicine aren't the only options for careers in India. Now, over the last 12 years, the Jindal Global University has been revolutionizing the education space for social sciences, liberal arts, and humanities. Now, I'd like to take you a little bit through the history of the university to showcase how. We started in 2009 with just one school, the Jindal Global Law School, 10 faculty members, and 100 students. Presently, we are at 10 schools. The 10 schools will be showcased over the next 1 week. 10 schools, 841 faculty members, and over 6,500 students. So for those of you who are already part of that cohort of the 2021 batch, congratulations, you are joining this wonderfully large family that is very close-knit. At the same time, when we started in 2009, we took a pledge unto ourselves that there are enough engineering colleges, that there are enough medical colleges. You see, when India became independent in 1947, the powers that be and the government that was at that point of time, they thought to themselves, we need to industrialize India very quickly, which led to Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, the then Prime Minister, calling dams as temples of modern India. Fast forward about 75 years, and we have now reached a certain rate, a certain sustainable rate of growth, something that we have seen over the last 10, 15 years or so. And that focus on engineering and medicine has remained, unfortunately. It is only when developing countries reach this sustainable level of growth that we turn our attention to the liberal arts, humanities, and social sciences. In some ways, it is much like this actor from Jurassic Park, Ian Malcolm, played by Jeff Goldblum, when he asks, you figured out how to clone dinosaurs, but you never thought of asking whether you should clone dinosaurs. And that really is the need of the hour. The need of the hour is not to approach the world's problems through a single perspective or a single discipline, but to approach the world's problems through multiple disciplines. Let's take an example. Presently, we are in the midst, and hopefully in some places, we're on the downturn of the second wave. Now, the effects of the second wave have been disastrous, and one needs no reminding of that. Having said that, what is the cure for the second wave or for COVID-19? Experts, politicians, and even armchair experts are of the consensus that everybody should get vaccinated. Now, great. So everybody should get vaccinated. The science is very clear on this. You've got a number of labs working around the world, and they've created a number of vaccines, whether you call it Covaxin or Covishield or Sputnik or AstraZeneca or Johnson & Johnson, it doesn't matter. The science remains the same. The pharmaceuticals behind that science remains the same. So why are we still struggling? The answer to that problem does not lie in science. It does not lie in pharmaceuticals. It lies in logistics. It lies in politics. It lies in economics. It lies in morality. It lies in ethics. In short, the problems that the world faces right now cannot be solved by science alone anymore. You need to have a humane approach to that. You need to have a social approach to that. Hence, Jindal Global University stands as India's foremost liberal arts, social sciences, and humanities university, right? So over the next 6 days, you all will get an opportunity to learn from our world-class faculty members and learn how teaching techniques and methodology and pedagogy differ from other universities or other schools and Jindal. Hopefully, you'll get a flavor of what it is like to be in a classroom at Jindal. And hopefully, at the end of these 6 days, you will be able to understand what you might be interested in or what you might be considering as a career. Now, you may have already made up your mind as to I want to apply to so-and-so program, or I want my career to be in this particular path. My recommendation, sure, that is your decision, and I will respect you for it. But like I mentioned, have some idea of what other disciplines can be about, right? So with that in mind, I'd like to talk a little bit about what we call interdisciplinarity at the OP Jindal Global University. Now, like I mentioned, the world's problems cannot be solved by one discipline or a couple of disciplines alone. Scientists will need to learn how to deal with humans. Social science students ought to know a little bit about data and how data is taking over our world, how artificial intelligence can help us solve the world's problems, right? As a result, at the OP Jindal Global University, we have a myriad of programs, about 26 of them at the undergraduate level, spanning law, business, international affairs, public policy, economics, liberal arts, journalism and communication, art and architecture, banking, finance, commerce, environment, as well as psychology, right? There are 26 different programs. Each of these programs is unique in terms of its curriculum. But here's my question. Should a student of architecture be interested in urban planning? And what if a course on urban planning is being offered by the School of Government and Public Policy? Should that architecture student be able to take up that urban planning course? Absolutely. Until a few years ago, I was teaching a course called Corporate Governance in the law school. Now, this talks about how companies operate and how they work, right? And how they're regulated. Should a business school student be interested in this kind of a course? Absolutely, they should be. As a result, what we have done at Jindal, which hasn't been done anywhere else in the world, is that All of our 10 schools do have their own unique curriculum, their own teaching methodology. However, we allow students to take courses from other schools. So for example, a psychology student should be able to take up, let's say a psychology student interested in criminal psychology should be able to take up victim rehabilitation laws from the law school, right? Today, you are in that very same process or very same space where you'll have a number of faculty members over the next 1 week talking to you about their own disciplines, talking to you about their own programs, and talking about various aspects of these programs and their disciplines, right? I would encourage you to keep an open mind to see, even if you want to be an economist, what can you learn from an architect? Even if you want to be a psychologist, what can you learn from a humanities faculty member, right? That's one aspect. Second, I'd like you to bear in mind that most of our faculty members have some kind of global experience or education. They will be bringing that experience and education to this Global Engagement Week. What this means is that most of us have been educated both in India as well as outside India. For example, after I finished my bachelor's degree in law from Calcutta, I did it from NUJS Calcutta, which at the time was one of India's top law schools. I went on to do my master's in Tulane University in the United States, practiced on Wall Street, practiced in London, practiced in Delhi, and then I came to Jindal to teach. Most of our faculty members have that kind of global experience and exposure. And it's not just in the law school. For example, Professor Kishalai Bhattacharya, he's in the journalism school, he reported on Naxal behavior and movement for 7 years before he won the Ramnath Goenka Award, which is India's top award for journalism, and then he started teaching at Jindal. Professor Dr. Mohan Kumar, who teaches diplomacy at the Jindal School of International Affairs, recently retired as India's ambassador to France. Can you imagine that? Former journalists teaching journalism, former diplomats teaching, well, diplomacy. And that is the kind of pedagogy and teaching methodology that Jindal brings into the classroom. That is the kind of exposure that students get at Jindal. All I can say is that I hope that you will be able to take the most of this occasion. I hope you will be able to take advantage of the situation and just soak up all that this Global Engagement Week can offer you. To take a line from this famous movie called Three Idiots, loosely based out of a book by Chetan Bhagat, there is knowledge everywhere. Wherever you can, just soak it up, right? With that in mind, I will see you guys again on Saturday on a special session on career competencies required in the 21st century. Until then, I hope this next 1 week is interesting as it is fun. Back to you, Ankur.
Thank you so much, Professor Arya, for that wonderful inaugural talk. I'm sure students would have taken a lot of positives from that talk. Students, as Professor Arya mentioned, there is knowledge everywhere, and this is an opportunity that we have created on behalf of OP Jindal Global University to package and present that knowledge to you in a very, very exciting format. As Professor Arya informed you, we will have sessions every day till about 2 o'clock till Saturday. All the students that are participating in this 1 week long workshop will be given certificates as a letter of credit for participating, but you have to ensure that you are available and participating in all the workshops that have been planned for you. If you miss even one workshop, we will not be able to give you a certificate. So ensure your presence. And not only your presence, we will encourage you to also ensure your participation and engagement. We appreciate for you that you have taken this time out to engage with us, to learn more. It will be very, very helpful if you also engage with us. There are multiple ways. I can see that my chat box is full with schools from all over India and abroad. Thank you so much. This gives us an idea of whoever and the class profile that is there. Keep us writing in. Please introduce yourself. Talk to us about your name, your class, your school name, and the city you are from. We will be noticing, as I said, the attendance. So please ensure that you are present. Today is a very, very interesting day for students, as we will have faculty members from our prestigious Jindal School of Banking and Finance presenting throughout the day today. We will start our first session of the day for a workshop. How many of you want to be entrepreneurs? Give me a quick yes or no in the chat section. Anybody who wants to be an entrepreneur here? Oh, a lot of yes. Lot of yeses are there. I think it's going crazy, the chat box. I think this is one field that everybody that we talk to in our counseling sessions with the students, especially interested in commerce and banking, everybody wants to be an entrepreneur these days. How do you become an entrepreneur? What are the key qualities that you should have, or what is it that you should do to realize whether you have an entrepreneur in you? Is a very, very interesting concept, and I'm very happy and glad that we have one of our very distinguished speakers with us today, Professor Kirti Pandyal. Dr. Kirti Pandyal is from Jindal School of Banking and Finance, and he will be conducting a 2-hour long workshop. So we start now at around 10-15 students. It will go up till 12-15, 12-20, and the workshop title is 7 Key Lessons for a Successful Entrepreneurial Journey. It is a fantastic workshop. Dr. Kirti has conducted this successfully in various schools previously, and we have always got good response, and we've got students who have told us that it's a very, very helpful workshop to understand whether we can become an entrepreneur or not. So enjoy it. I would like to invite Professor Kirti Pandyal to begin his session, please. Over to you, Dr. Kirti. Very good morning to
you. Thank you very much, Ankur. Before I start, I just wanted to check if I'm audible to everybody, if I'm visible.
Yes, sir. You're audible and you're visible.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. It's a beautiful morning. I've been up for quite some time. I've already spoken to students from a school in Punjab today morning on a similar topic, business and entrepreneurship. And it's wonderful to see so many young minds present over here who are looking to explore what all the different career opportunities are present, what options they have once they finish their schooling and move on to undergraduate and further studies. So I'll just give a brief introduction about myself. My name is Kirti Pandyal. I'm a faculty member here at the Jindal School of Banking and Finance. I finished my PhD from IIM Calcutta in the area of intellectual property, a very niche area of intellectual property known as essential patents. After finishing my PhD at IIM Calcutta, I've joined Jindal School of Banking and Finance, where I'm teaching courses. I've taught courses on Economics 1, Corporate Governance in Financial Institutions, Global Financial Markets, and Global Political Economy. Now, in the coming semesters, I'll be teaching courses on management, principles of management, and other core areas for students of BCom and BA in finance and entrepreneurship. Before joining IIM Calcutta to do my PhD, I finished my MBA from Ahmedabad, after which I went into the investment banking industry. Professor Arjia spoke about how all the faculty members which are in JGU, most of them have either international experience or excellent relevant background, which they themselves then pass on to the students. So I myself worked in the investment banking industry, where I was a part of a team which was helping companies raise funds for their different projects. Now, the companies could be healthcare companies who want to start hospitals, education companies looking to start schools, a commercial vehicle company which is trying to build commercial vehicles. This was a company which would buy bare bodies from Tata Motors or Mahindra & Mahindra and then build the body on top. Or even oil services platforms, no company wanting to purchase an oil rig or drill offshore. So I was helping companies across different sectors. I was a part of a team which was helping companies across different sectors. raise money by approaching banks in the form of debt. So what did this experience teach me? This experience taught me that it is very essential. I mean, several of my colleagues from these schools, I am Ahmedabad or I am Calcutta, might not agree. But I am very strongly of the belief that finance is the lifeblood of an organization. And for a person to be a successful entrepreneur, for a person to be a successful businessman, they need to understand finance, have financial skills. However, before we get into all that, first and foremost, when Mr. Ankur Vora asked you, how many of you want to be entrepreneurs? There was an avalanche of responses, almost, I didn't see any no, I'm saying almost, because the responses were so fast, coming so fast and furious. All I saw was yes. I'm not sure if there was a no, but to be on the safe side, I'll say almost all the responses were yes. And it's a wonderful experience, or it's wonderful to see the students of 10th, 11th, 12th standards, high school students, so keen on pursuing an entrepreneurial journey. When not so far ago, not so many years ago, parents would frown upon their students, their children who wanted to pursue that entrepreneurial journey. I myself know, for example, when I left my job at Ernst & Young, my investment banking job, to start something on my own, I received calls from my parents, my mother, my father. I received calls from friends of my parents asking me why I am leaving a well-paying, high-profile job to start something which might not be successful, to start something where there is no chance of success. And this was 11 years ago. There is a sea change from in this duration. Today, parents across India, today the ecosystem has changed and people see entrepreneurship as a viable career option. More importantly, they see entrepreneurship as a wealth generator, as an employment generator, which is helping build the nation, and which will also help improve your own stature, the person who's starting the company, the person who's starting the business, the entrepreneur. However, despite these attitudes changing over time, despite more and more parents, more and more students, more and more people being open to the idea of entrepreneurship, we need to be very careful about what we need to do before we start off on this journey, on this entrepreneurial journey. Why so? Just like before you become an engineer, before you take up an engineering job, or just like before you take up the job of a doctor, start practicing as a doctor, you need certain basic skills, you need certain training in medical school, in engineering school to pick up those skills. There are certain life lessons, there are certain skills which are essential for you to keep in mind before you become an entrepreneur. Now, depending on who you ask, depending on which entrepreneur you ask, you might say, let's say you have the contact details of Sachin Bansal of Flipkart or Bhavesh Agarwal of Ola. If you ask both of them, they might give you different answers because they have their own perspective. But having asked them, if you ask them which is the most important skill, they might say, one might say passion is more important, the other might say leadership skills are more important. But instead, if you ask them what are the 7 most important skills or what are the 10 most important skills, chances are 80 to 90% of the skills they say will be common across the two. The reason this is because although what I place as the most important might differ from person to person, what are the common set of skills which are needed is similar across companies, across industries. Now, these skills that I'm going to talk to you today about, the 7 key lessons for you to have a successful entrepreneurial journey, they're not just important for a success, for you to be a success as an entrepreneur, for you to have a startup which has $1 billion evaluation, which makes a lot of money and which is a world leader. These skills are also important if you were to choose to follow a corporate path or if you want to go into public service. These are very key essential skills which are present, which are needed across different jobs, across different industries. The reason I am talking about entrepreneurship today is because entrepreneurship is the need of the hour in the country. Our own Honorable Prime Minister, a couple of years back, at the Independence Day speech that he gave, praised the role played by entrepreneurs in developing the nation, in building the nation. He called on entrepreneurs across India to step up to the plate and drive the economic growth of the country. He called entrepreneurs the economic engine which is driving India's growth and which will make India global superpower. Okay, so we've been throwing around this word entrepreneurship for quite some time, for about 10-15 minutes. Can somebody tell me what exactly is entrepreneurship? When I use the word entrepreneur or entrepreneurship, what do you understand?
Professor, the students don't have the rights to unmute.
No, they are responding in chat, so that's also fine.
Okay. So in case a student can raise their hand and then you can unmute them and they can answer the question.
Sure, absolutely. So I am seeing several responses where people are saying to start their own business, self-employment. They are saying a startup. I even have a couple of answers which say a person with a new idea is an entrepreneur. So now all of this risk-taking, I love that answer, startup with a risk-taking. So all of these are correct answers. Vasu?
Yes, sir, I'm Vasu Gupta this side.
Yes, please go ahead.
Sir, we can say entrepreneur as a person who starts a business or runs a business.
Yes, somebody who's starting a business, somebody who is running a business. Now, although it's generally used as a word, no, the word is used to explain or mean somebody who's starting a business like Vasu and several other people have said. One key important thing that needs to be remembered is that entrepreneurs take risks and entrepreneurs solve problems. Somebody who's starting a business without any risk, which, with the backing of a rich parent or with the backing of a rich relative, it doesn't have, any risk. If there is going to be a sure shot customer, if there's going to be, might not technically be called an entrepreneur, might not strictly be seen as a self-made person. Entrepreneurs generally are seen as people, self-made people who have, seen a problem around them, who have identified a better way of doing things, and who bear risks. Now, these risks are risks which they themselves are bearing, as well as risks are involved for the people who are putting in the money in the business. An entrepreneur need not always have the money when they start a business. He or she is several times approaching a bank or a venture capitalist or an angel investor and seeking funding. Many times, we have people who have started the business on their own with entirely their own funding. A very famous example, and I'm sure all of you would know, is Zerodha. How many of you have heard of Zerodha? Exactly. It's a stock broking platform. It's a stock trading platform, rather, where individuals like you and me can purchase stocks, can purchase various securities and trade. Now, why am I talking about Zerodha? The founders of Zerodha, both of them brothers, have started the company with their own money. They started their company, they were introduced to stock trading. They found that the existing platforms were very cumbersome, were very difficult, they were not easy to understand. So they started their own company to make it easy for normal people who don't have specialist knowledge in finance, to trade in the stock market, to make stock market more accessible to everybody. Now, this company has been around for more than 10 years. It was recently in the news because both the brothers have been, the board of the company, Zerodha, has approved a salary of 100 crores each to both the brothers and to a third director. This company started from scratch, did not take any investment, started with their own money. They did not pay to advertise. They did not pay to attract clients. They focused on the product. They focused on growing through word of mouth. This company solely grew through the first lesson that I will be talking about today. Before I get to that first lesson, all of you mentioned, let me just share my screen so it will be a little bit more, little less boring for you and a little bit more interactive. Yeah. So when I asked you what exactly is entrepreneurship, when I asked you what do you understand by the word entrepreneur, I received several responses, all of which were correct. My next question, what is entrepreneurship? Has any of you heard this term entrepreneurship? I see a few yeses. Can you please raise your hand so that I can call on you? You can unmute yourself. Anushka, please go ahead.
An entrepreneur is where a person is given a task to develop the business, to innovate the business within the company. It does not, he or she does not have to take the risks or that a normal entrepreneur takes.
Okay, so Anushka is mostly correct. She said that an entrepreneur is a person who is given the task to innovate or to develop a business within a company, and that he or she does not need to take risks.
Yes, may I?
It allows a person to practice entrepreneurship while, in their own company. They do not need to start their own business.
Okay. Krishna,
may I?
Yeah.
Yes. So entrepreneurship, according to me, basically deals with work when you're working in an established company and you have the position, or you are in a situation where you can innovate something new for a venture or a project that you're looking at with your innovative ideas and carry that project successfully, complete it. That's where it is. So entrepreneurship is when you start your own business, but within an established company, when you come up with something innovative and you take the risk of practicing it in a venture and taking it further, that's when entrepreneurship comes into picture.
Thank you, Mahek. So, Krishavir, I'll take the last answer from you.
So it doesn't even have to be the whole company within itself. It can only be one specific project which the company is working on, and the person who is developing that one specific project within a company is called an entrepreneur.
Thank you. So, Aditya, I'm sorry, I'll come back to you with further questions and then maybe you will have another chance to answer. So, all the answers I've received are spot on. All of the students have mentioned that it's basically a person or a group of people within a company who are sometimes either given a task or who start work on their own project and then develop this product or develop this service within the company while not leaving the job of the company. Some of you mentioned that this is, some of you mentioned that these employees or this person is given the task to develop a new product. Others mentioned that there is no risk. So these two factors are not technically true. One, it's not that the employee or the group of employees is given a task to develop a new product or develop a new service. These employees start working on this product on their own. There are several such examples. I'm not sure how many of you heard of Minnesota Mining and Minerals Company? Minnesota Mining and Minerals. Let me just, Minnesota Mining and Manufacturing. I might be mistaken. Okay, so Dhruv, you said that your dad worked there. Can you tell me what the name of this company today is? Dhruv Gadgil? In chat itself, please, if possible. Exactly. We all know this today as 3M. Now, the reason I'm talking of Minnesota Mining and Minerals or Minnesota Mining and Manufacturing is because this is a company which is famous for inculcating the spirit of entrepreneurship. This is a company where managers, where employees have been encouraged to come up with their own ideas. Now, why do I say there is a risk even though the employee has been encouraged to come up with their own ideas? Because if the product does fail, because if the product does not work, the employee would have put in a lot of time, money, and effort of their own into the product, into the prototype, one. And two, there may be professional repercussions as well if their product is not working, because they might lose out on promotions. If they are consistently coming up with products which don't work, they might, their job might be at risk. So there is an element of risk involved for the employees. Another famous company which has famously inculcated the spirit of entrepreneurship in their employees is Google. All of you would know that early on in the first decade, first 15 years of Google's existence or so, employees were allowed to work on their own projects for up to 20% of the time. And when I say 20% of the time, I'm not talking of personal time when they are outside office. Monday to Friday, if I'm working, 20% of my working time I can devote to my own personal project. So a lot of Google's products came out of these employees working on their own personal time. One of which we're all using today, Gmail. Gmail is a product which has come out of an employee building the product in their own personal time. Similarly, Google Chat, which was earlier a standalone chat tool, later on incorporated into Gmail. On the left side of Gmail, if you will see, there is a Meet chat option. That was again another tool developed by an employee of Google in their own 20% time when they devoted every Friday to working on their personal projects. There are so many such examples around the world. Now, why is it that some companies encourage entrepreneurship, whereas some don't? The reason being that companies which encourage entrepreneurship realize that their employees are top-notch employees, world-class brains, world-class engineers or product developers, finance professionals, management professionals, and that if they're not given the space to creatively develop, they might leave the company and go start something on their own. The companies which encourage entrepreneurship want to retain this talent, want to keep these people in-house so that one, these people don't go and start a competitor, and two, It provides them a new way of generating business, new sources of revenue. The example of 3M that I gave, some of the products which have come up because of entrepreneurship are the Scotch Brite that we use every day to wash utensils or to clean tables. Scotch Brite is a product which developed because of entrepreneurship. The post-it notes that every student and every office maker loves, again, are a product of entrepreneurship. They were not products which the R&D department of 3M cooked up. These were products which individual employees of 3M in their own free time, working on their own, developed, and then brought it to the company and said, hey, look, I have a new product over here. Do you think this will be relevant for the market? Can we launch this? Now, these are products which have gone on to become present in almost every household. I won't say every household, we have gone on to be present everywhere around the world, almost every country. Companies realizing what their employees are doing, companies fostering these skills of employees, and companies wanting to ensure that these employees stay within the company. So what are these key lessons that employees within the company or entrepreneurs like ourselves need to have to start to build a successful business or to start a new venture? First and foremost, passion. I told you I'll come back to what the founders of Zerodha had. I told you, based only on their passion. Now these guys started the company when they were 19. The founder, Nitin Kamath, he started working at a call center at the age of 17. And then he was not even investing in the stock market. He was not interested when he started working. But since he started working, once he had a job, he was earning money. One of his friends introduced him to the stock market. So once he was introduced there, he saw that this entire platforms that were available, that the software or the technology or the brokerage houses which were traditionally through whom you put the money into the market, they were very complicated and not simple enough to understand for normal people like you and me, people who don't have financial expertise. So he set about to build a platform along with his brother, where it's made simple for individuals who don't have an understanding of finance to invest in the stock market. This company started in 2010. Today, 11 years later, it's a unicorn. What is a unicorn? A company which has more than a $1 billion valuation. They did not do any marketing. They did not spend money on any PR, on advertising, nothing. Unlike other companies, a lot of IT companies, a lot of tech companies today earn money through advertisements. You can place ads on the app or on your website and you get money. They did not do that. They chose not to go that route. They charge money from users, people who want to trade. No subscription plans or membership fees or per trade charge. And they use only, that is their only source of revenue. Recently, they were asked in an interview, why don't you launch free plans or why don't you launch discounted plans? Nitin Kamath was very clear. See, we are not looking to attract people who will not be around. They are sure who their market is. They are sure who their customers are. They want to know that the people who will become their customers will continue trading. These are not people who are attracted by gimmicks, who come onto the platform. No, if they were to offer discounts, if they were to offer free accounts, it will be a cost to the company. They are so passionate about the business that they know exactly what they want to do and who they want to target. They are not looking to target people who are not serious about stock trading. Another example of passion. Have you heard of this company called I'm forgetting the name. Sleepy Owl, sorry. Have you heard of Sleepy Owl? Exactly. It's a coffee company. Now, what do you think the story was behind Sleepy Owl? I mean, one fine day, just a young man or a young woman who wanted to start the company and sell coffee brew to people. The person behind Sleepy Owl, I've later come to know this after I joined Jindal University, that the person behind Sleepy Owl was an alumni of the Jindal Global University, Arman Kohli. And I'm very proud, to be at a university where this kind of innovation, or the students have this kind of thinking process. Now, this person liked coffee, black coffee, but he didn't like black coffee which was hot. He wanted cold black coffee. However, wherever he went, whichever coffee shop or whichever coffee house or cafe that he went to, when he ordered black coffee, espresso, it was always served hot. If he wanted cold coffee, it would be inevitably mixed with milk. Even if it is packaged cold coffee, pre-mix, that would, when you mix it in cold water, it would be something which had milk in it or milk powder in it. So he started this business just because he had passion for coffee. And I can go on and on about this, why passion is so important. Now, Sleepy Owl, is mostly, being from South India, I've not heard of Sleepy Owl before I came to Sonipat, before I came to Delhi NCR. But being from South India, I have another example of how passion can transform. Chayos. Now, this is a brand, this is a chai shop, a tea shop, which is present across India. And for somebody from South India who needs their cup of tea as soon as they wake up, once I left home, and I'm not proud to admit this, I'm terrible at cooking. Once I left home, I can't even make proper tea. So I needed my morning cup of tea, or I needed tea whenever I had the craving. Otherwise, I would have a headache after a busy, very hot meeting, heated exchange, heated discussion, the entire day's work, a lot of work, and I need a chai. Unfortunately, I don't know how to make chai. What do I do? Chayos to the rescue. I mean, I don't know how many times I ordered Chayos. I don't know how many flasks of Chayos I've finished. But thanks to Chayos, I've survived. And Chayos, again, was started by the founders who realized that there are a lot of coffee shops present, especially in metropolitan cities like Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore. There are coffee shops on every street corner, but there was nothing dedicated to tea. So it was started by two graduates from IIT to focus and to give tea to all tea lovers. And to them, I say, God bless them. I would not have survived quite a lot of meetings, quite a lot of hectic work days without Chayos. I'll come back to Zerodha. Now, I've talked about how passion is necessary to start your own journey, entrepreneurial journey. How passion is necessary to make your business, to make your entrepreneurial career a successful career. The second skill that you need is that of critical thinking. Now, I'll come back to Zerodha. Remember, I mentioned that Zerodha was asked by several people. Now, this includes investment gurus. This includes industry experts. as to why Zerodha was not offering discounts to traders, to individuals who want to trade on the stock market on its membership plans, or why Zerodha did not have a free membership plan, why Zerodha is not advertising, or why Zerodha is not going out and spending money to acquire new users. Zerodha also is refusing investment. Now, a startup refusing investment from big equity players, big investors, is very strange. We see news of how Oyo has another round of investment where they raised $500, $600, $700 million. We see news of Uber having investment rounds. We see Flipkart raising money, Paytm raising money. So why is it that Zerodha is refusing investment when investors themselves are coming and saying, we want to put money in your company? This is where the second skill becomes very important: critical thinking. The founders of Zerodha know that their core customers are customers who trade regularly. Know that it is these people who will help the company, or who are helping the company, generate revenues and profits. And that this is their main focus area. So if they start diluting their focus by looking at acquiring customers who want free accounts or who will not trade unless they have discount offers, in that case, they believe that it's not the right thing to do. Why? People who are looking for free accounts, people who are looking for discount offers, might not be serious about the trading process, the stock trading. 1. 2, they might not be taking the amount of effort needed to study. Stock trading is not a game. Trading on the stock market, be it shares, be it bonds, be it other kinds of securities, is not a game. You need to pick up skills, which Zerodha offers in forms of training modules or videos, and then use those skills to trade in the stock market. So if you are not willing to put in the effort, you will not become a good trader. You will not make money. And it's human nature that when you don't put in the effort, or when you don't make the money, you will blame somebody else always, not yourself. So they don't want to be going after these people who are not serious about the business. How did they identify this? It is through this skill of critical thinking, where they are analyzing the situation they are in, where they are analyzing the business that they are operating, the company that they have, the customers that they have, and walking through it in a systematic way. They are not blindly saying, okay, today we have these many customers who are paying to become members. Oh, ET Money or some other platform, Sharekhan is offering customers free accounts, so we should also offer free accounts. Otherwise, we will lose customers to Sharekhan, or we will lose customers to ET Money or some other platform. They can see that their competitors are doing that. But they are not jumping behind the competitor just because the competitors are doing this. They are stopping and asking, do we need to offer free accounts? Do we need to give discounts? If we don't, can we still get customers by just continuing our focus? Can we still retain our customers by staying on, the ones who are regular traders, and making sure that our product that we are offering is best suited to them? Okay, this is very important. You should not just follow the herd because everybody is doing it. You should stop and ask, what is happening here? Why is everybody going that way? And is it a right path for me? That is where critical thinking comes in. Another example of critical thinking. All of us know Uber, right? Now, Uber has been very successful in attracting companies, attracting investors, in attracting customers like you and me, know who will use the facility, and also drivers. Why is it that, and it's not like Uber has a lot of competition. In whichever country you go to where Uber is present, at most there is one other player. In the US, it is Lyft. In India, it is Ola. So it's not like Uber has a lot of competition. Why is it that then Uber has launched Uber Eats? This is because Uber realized that they know the same platform that they're using for taxi services, for cars, can be extended to other industries as well. Somebody in the leadership team at Uber was doing critical thinking. They realized that their skill at their main product is not providing taxi service, but it's the platform which is connecting customers with the service providers. And that platform, they started asking, can it be used in other industries? And the most common other industry that they found was eating out, where people would like to order food, where people would like to order, different items from different restaurants. And they deployed this platform in the form of Uber Eats, where they know that same platform. Now, just that it's people, the restaurants were offering food with the people who want food. There's nobody going anywhere. It's the food which is moving, right? The third skill that you need is analytical and problem-solving skills. Now, this is very similar to critical thinking. This is, a lot of people confuse the two, but there is a very key and important difference. In critical thinking, you ask questions about your different situations, the situation that you're present in, but there might not be a problem that needs to be solved. In the Zerodha example, you were asking whether my focus is correct, whether I should be, introducing new subsidized plans or not. In the Uber example, you're asking, where else can I use my platform? Uber was not facing any problem at that time when they launched Uber Eats. However, they still went ahead and launched Uber Eats. So I'm not necessarily having a problem. So this is the main difference between critical thinking and analytical and problem-solving skills. In problem-solving skills, you will actually try to address several of these issues. An example of problem-solving skills is when Flipkart launched cash on delivery in India. When Flipkart started in India, Indians still had not had the habit of purchasing online. Indians were still hesitant about buying goods online. We were used to seeing, feeling, and touching what we were purchasing before we were willing to hand over money in exchange for the product. Now, Flipkart entered this space and wanted to change the behavior of individuals, change the behavior of Indians in the way that they shop. Because of this, they knew that if they asked people to pay the money upfront before they even got the product, they would never take off. Their platform would not take off the ground. Hence, they launched the cash on delivery option. Now, you might be a fan of Amazon. So you might be, Amazon also argues that they were the first ones to, offer cash on delivery anywhere in the world by offering it in India. Flipkart says, no, it's us who started it. So depending on which platform you prefer, you can argue that it's that particular platform who offered or who provided that solution to the problem. Nonetheless, the fact is that India presented a unique challenge to these e-commerce platforms, and these platforms came out with a solution to that, which was the cash on delivery. Another example, Myntra. How do you sell clothes when people don't know the size? When people are not sure if the shirt or the trousers or the skirt that they purchase will fit them? Myntra said, okay, no problem. You order, 7 days, 10 days returns, no questions asked. And they had a very successful campaign around this. This was a solution to a problem. They realized that people would be hesitant to purchase clothes because they're not sure if they can return the clothes once they've purchased them. And as a result, the solution to that is to have a new policy, to have a new product that they've launched. 10 days, no questions asked returns policy. These are all solutions which companies have come up with. These are all skills which people within the companies have used to come up with solutions for problems that they are facing. There are a few students who raised their hands. Rajveer, do you have a question?